Welcome back to Festival Hall. You're watching Fox Sports right around Australia, and that is Brian Aldridge making his way to the ring here for this ISKA Australian light welterweight bout. 5 2-minute rounds. And Michael Chavello, we don't know a lot about Brian Aldridge.
Don't know a lot about Brian Aldridge, but he comes from a good stable, being led to the ring by former amateur world champion Mark May. Mark May, of course, won the world title when he defeated Gurkhan Ozcan and also Steve Jez.
Mark May and Steve Jez in his corner. We've got to see something good from Brian Aldridge, I'm sure. And this is a New South Wales versus Victorian bout, of course, so there's something, an added extra there.
And Steve Aldridge will be coming, Brian Aldridge, I might say, will be coming up against a man who is undefeated so far in the kickboxing circuit, in Nidal Taleb. And you can hear the crowd getting behind their local champion as he makes his way to the ring, accompanied by his trainer, Jamal Hassan. Keeping very busy tonight. Of course, preparing for the main event will be Gurkhan Ozcan. Nidal Taleb is 5-0 at the moment. Can he make it 6-0 against New South Wales' Brian Aldridge?
Well, both these men came in well under the light welterweight limit of 63.5 kilos. Nidal Taleb 62.5 and Brian Aldridge 62. In terms of orthodox boxing, we have a couple of great light welterweights in Australia at the moment. The IBF world champion Costa Tszyu and the unbeaten Shannon Taylor as well. So these guys in the same weight division. Obviously, though, it's going to be a little bit different as a spectacle, but should be a very entertaining fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5 rounds for the ISKA Australian Light Welterweight Championship. We welcome to ringside former national champion, South Pacific champion, Louis the Ice Isophitis. Welcome, Louis, to centering Bryce Birdwhistle and the team. Okay, it's Victoria versus New South Wales. Would you welcome on my left, trained by a man who just missed selection for Australia at Atlanta in the Olympic Games in boxing. He's a former world champion in his own right, the mighty Mark May. Welcome, Mark, back to Melbourne town. Working in the corner with Steve Jez, promoter, kickboxer. Would you welcome Mark's protege from Liverpool, New South Wales, with 7 bouts, 4 wins, 3 losses, 28 years of age, wearing, well, what would you call that? Mauve with gold, with Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, emblazoned. Would you welcome at 62 kilograms, Brian Aldridge. Across the ring in the red corner, one of the prides of Turkey, unbeaten until last time out, with a record now of 6 bouts, 5 wins, scaling 62.5 kilograms. Jamal Hassan Academy, red and white. Would you welcome Nidal Taleb? Your judge is Bruce Haynes, Ignatius Pistoletas. Lebanon, correct that. From the pride of Lebanon, Nidal Taleb. Your ringside judge is Bruce Haynes, Ignatius Pistoletas, and Mark Corrie. Peter Clark in charge.
Referee Peter Clark will give these men their final instructions.
The nearest neutral corner, the corner I direct you to. Do you have any questions? I want no biting, no pushing, and no abuse of your fighters during this fight. You understand? Tuscal's now in the last round. Let's get it on.
Well, Nidal Taleb certainly has an imposing record of 5-1, but Brian Aldridge, with Mark May and Steve Jez in his corner, obviously has quite good support and is well schooled as well.
Very impressive stable there of Brian Aldridge. And Nidal Taleb, no shortage of excitement in his game plan, winding up there for a high right roundhouse kick to begin the first round. In his last fight, he defeated a very experienced campaigner in Zelko Mihailovic, knocked him out in the second round with an overhand right. And he is a powerhouse of a fighter, Nidal Taleb, as he slaps a leg kick onto Brian Aldridge just to let him know, you've come down to Victoria, Brian. This is an interstate battle. Both men will be giving it their all.
Good short right there from Brian Aldridge, but at the moment, it's Taleb who stalks his opponent. Some problems.
Fighter's over the ropes. He's got his back turned. You take another strike and I'll stop the fight and disqualify. Do you understand?
Brian Aldridge being spoken to by referee in no uncertain terms.
Aldridge leading out with a couple of lefts there. Waiting to see those beautiful roundhouse kicks of Nidal Taleb. Goes downstairs and a straight right hand.
I'll hand up, mate. I've got to give you pants side too. You're right.
Nidal Taleb went down. Referee Peter Clark applies the count.
8, you're right. Go ahead, let's go.
An early wobble there, Mark Castanini for Nidal Taleb.
Well, Brian picking that one beautifully, right on the chin. Beautifully picked punch by Brian Aldridge there.
Well, that certainly came against the run of the first round. Taleb was making all the running, and then Brian Aldridge came up with a short, sharp right hand, grazing high right kick from Nidal Taleb. Plenty of action here in the opening round as Aldridge comes on strong.
While Taleb connected with that high right roundhouse kick, you can see the blood starting to flow from the left eyebrow of Brian Aldridge. Taleb trying to back him into against the ropes. Both men bringing out the heavy artillery in the first round. This should be a ripper of a fight between two very well-conditioned fighters in the lightweight division. This is for the ISKA Australian light welterweight title. End of the first round, Mark Castanini. An early knockdown for Nidal Taleb, but he came back with those right roundhouse kicks, and he's opened up a cut on Brian Aldridge.
I think you'll see Nidal trying to work that cut, but as you've seen Nidal throwing those nice roundhouse kicks, nice high roundhouse kicks, that stems from Jamal Hassan's academy. Of course, Jamal Hassan also is a very proficient Taekwondo instructor. Taekwondo is the martial art that will be in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, so that's where Nidal's kicks are coming from that Taekwondo backgrounding. Brian Aldridge, on the other hand, he's a very well turned out athlete. Both of these boys present very well. They're looking fit, and they're very good technicians as well. They're picking their shots nice and clean, and I suppose with Brian having Mark May and Steve Jez in the corner, you couldn't expect anything less.
John Casey, I can see you scribbling down some notes on your pad there. How did you see the first round?
Well, by virtue of that knockdown, I gave it to Brian Aldridge 10-9. Taleb certainly made the early running. It wasn't a 10-8 round on my scorecard, but certainly the visiting boxer from New South Wales got the 10-9 result on my card. Taleb comes up with a sharp left hand to get us underway here. Round 2, scheduled for 5. Taleb in the red and white trunks. Brian Aldridge, purple and gold, works downstairs. And again. Taleb, athletic but unsuccessful.
Very sharp technique being displayed by both fighters at the moment. Taleb is vicious with those high right roundhouse kicks. Really does get them up very high, pulls them across beautifully. And catch one of those in the right place, will take the starch right out of you. Here's Taleb on the attack again. Goes downstairs with a leg kick. Aldridge checked that leg kick there. Fires one of his own.
Mark May just signalling to Brian to go high with one of those round kicks of his own.
There's the low leg kick again by Brian Aldridge. An interstate battle. So far, a very even one.
Aldridge steps forward, certainly paying a lot of attention and respect to Nidal Taleb, who came into this fight with a very impressive record. Good right kick from Taleb. Did some damage there.
It's on your pants, not on me.
Grabbed the attention of Aldridge. He certainly has power, both in his hands and feet. Nidal Taleb.
Nidal Taleb does have excellence of execution, especially in his legs. Wound up for a high right roundhouse kick. Didn't find the head of Brian Aldridge. Goes in with the left hook. Catches him on the kisser and a front kick as well. Take one too many of those and it'll be lights out. Aldridge finds the canvas. Referee Peter Clark applies the count. The New South Welshman is down.
7.
Impressive by Nidal Taleb. Can he get up? It's over. Nidal Taleb maintains his undefeated record and the crowd are going crackers. What a display, Mark Castanini, by the young star of the Jamal Hassan stable, Nidal Taleb.
We expect nothing less from Jamal's boys. They're always well prepared. I think there's a factor in this fight that needs to be explained. The boys from Sydney, in Sydney they have the fight with shin guards on, which is a protective coating that they have to wear over their shins. They come down to Melbourne and they fight without shin guards on. they couple of low kicks, or they check shin on shin, and it just takes their focus off where they should be holding their hands, etc. And I think that could have been what happened to Brian, because as we can see now, he's limping quite badly, and he'll certainly feel that tomorrow. But that's always a factor when the New South Wales boys come to Victoria and fight without the shin guards on, because their legs get banged up a bit. Then they've got no padding, and it just takes their mind off the job sometimes.
Our first knockout of the night here at the War Zone, and the second consecutive knockout win for Nidal Taleb. He finished his last opponent off in 2 rounds and did the same here tonight against New South Wales' Brian Aldridge.
And did it in style, of course, having to pick himself up off the canvas in the opening round on the end of a good right hand from Brian Aldridge. Here you see the ISK Australian light welterweight belt being handed to Nidal Taleb. Very impressive display from him. And Howard Lee has the new champ.
Last time beaten narrowly Dandenong, but tonight your kicks were wicked.
Yeah, I know.
You know. Okay, just a brief word to thank everybody.
I'd like to thank my corner, Jamal, Tarek for promoting the show. I'd like to thank Claudia for helping me, and all my mates for coming down and watching me. Thank you.
Okay, Nidal.
So, Nidal Taleb,
Brian,
this is the new Australian light welterweight champion. Very impressive display. Next up, the Australian super welterweight title goes on the line. Dean Keedy against Michael Kenner when we return to Festival Hall.